skull and bones itself. It's inside the face of a hog-nosed bat, and that has wings just like the owl. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, that is part of the owl represents the Bohemian Grove, and the skull and bones represents the Bank of London, the Square Mile of London, and of course, excuse me, of course, the entire reverse of the dollar bill is the Ark of the Covenant in its entirety. And I can prove it through, I've actually proved it in my book, which you're going to see on video tomorrow. I'm going to show you a video of, I'm going to show you the actual downloaded book from in a Kindle edition. And it has all the bells and whistles. You can show you where, if you put the word, for instance, let's see, what's a good one? The Leviathan. The Leviathan. Now, you would think that a Leviathan is a mythical sea beast creature, big beast, like a dragon, but it comes from the sea. It's anything really big, but in this case, how it's used on the flat Earth map, the Leviathan is on the flat Earth map. Now, I had no idea that there was even a flat Earth when I wrote my book between 2004 and 2010. I never heard the theory before. I didn't even really go on YouTube until 2009 or 10, maybe. When I published the book, I went on YouTube because I didn't want to spend all that time on the internet. However, in my book, published April 15, 2010, have a Leviathan in the book. And oddly enough, the concept of the Leviathan came out of the words in the Bible. The same words in the Bible that put the Leviathan in a specific spot on the dollar bill, those same words. Where I put the Leviathan and where the Leviathan is on the flat Earth map, if you overlaid them, it wouldn't be an eighth of an inch away. So the dollar bill and the flat Earth map is identical. Now, there are other things on the flat Earth map, including oceans or seas, land masses, the firmament. And you're going to have a big surprise when it comes to the firmament. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. And that particular thing, I spent a year sometimes trying to figure out one little idiosyncrasy on the dollar bill and how it related to the Bible. And then I saw this flat Earth map, and it's about the Bible and the words in the Bible, and it's exactly where it is on the flat Earth map on the dollar bill. They're identical. You could overlay it, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. However, it has a meaning. I knew what the dome or what the compass of the dollar bill meant. I mean, it's an enclosed system. But I had no idea that I was going to find the moon and the greater light, which is the sun, and the lesser light, which is the moon. I never really figured out how to correlate those two until a few weeks ago. And the reason I wasn't correlating is because I wasn't putting it together. I wasn't putting it together properly. You know, the discovery itself is amazing. People should offer me round trip airfare and hotel accommodations to come and discuss this on these conspiracy channels, but they won't because they missed it. You know, there's such a big thing about jealousy. Well, Alex Jones is beyond jealous. He works for a certain group of individuals. They don't want to have anything to do with my dollar bill videos. And the reason they don't want to have anything to do with my dollar bill videos is simple. My dollar bills videos prove that the Vatican controls this world. There's no doubt about it. In my book, I proved it. There's no doubt about that either. I did it because it's the biggest logos on the dollar bill, or icon on the dollar bill, or iconology on the dollar bill. It's the biggest, the Ark of the Covenant. And although the Ark of the Covenant was built long before the Vatican came into place, the Vatican uses these symbols. Whatever the book of Exodus has as a description for how to build the Ark of the Covenant, it's on the dollar bill. Everything. The size of the Ark of the Covenant, when scaled down, is on the dollar bill. 20 cubits, 20 cubits, 20 cubits. If you want to talk about conspiracies, many of the words in the Bible describe a picture, but it's not really a picture. It's called a pictograph. A pictograph tells a story. Thousands of places in the Bible are word phrases, and those, I don't know, 10,000 word phrases. I don't know them all, but the key phrases in the Bible are all depicted on the American dollar bill. Now, could I find them all? No, but I know they're all there, which means that something otherworldly and not God. God didn't make the dollar bill. In my book, I describe a God-like being creating the dollar bill and writing the Bible on the same day from the same computer before the Great Pyramids existed 12,000 years ago. Okay. Oh, pyramids are only 4,000 years old. No, they're not. Okay. They're well into 12,000 years old, and the Sphinx could be 30,000 years old. So I don't concern myself much with the Sphinx, but mankind and technology far advanced than what we have today has been around for 30,000 years, 50,000 years. The civilizations like we have on this planet have come and gone. What's so hard to understand about that? If there was a great earth upheaval right now, volcanoes, earthquakes, tidal waves, and then destroys everything for 100,000 years, technology is basically zero. And then in 100,000 years, metal disappears. Maybe not stainless steel enclosed in concrete, but all those artifacts that have been discovered are usually stuck in a building, just like in Raiders of the Lost Ark. You might not think so, but what happened to the bones in the Smithsonian Institute from the giants? Many, many skeletal remains of giants were in the Smithsonian Institute. And one day somebody woke up and threw them all out. Now, do you think that's good science? It kind of reminds me of NASA throwing out or overlaying or erasing and copying over the tapes from the moon mission. There you have a reel of tape, 72 millimeter, whatever it is, that big, it says Apollo 11 moon landing. And somebody said, "Well, I need a tape," and they said it was the reason. They said it was for the budget. Yeah, really? They spent billions. How many? $40 billion on the space program, and they needed a tape, so they erased the original Apollo moon landing. I listened to Bill Nye. He makes my stomach turn. Bill Nye. I watch him. I watch Geraldo Rivera. It makes my stomach turn. That other guy, the Latin Loafers guy, Anderson, Andy Cooper, makes my stomach turn, that guy. Because they all know what the truth is, and they are such good liars. They lie, they're professional liars. Those three guys, and the other guy, the black guy, the one that lies about NASA, Neil deGrasse, Grassi, whatever his name is, they're all liars. They're professional liars. They've been to acting school for years of their life that they don't have on their resume. But anyway, those are some of the things that we're going to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to also do some, you will be able to ask me questions about the hotel and why it's taking so long. And it's not taking so long. Now, I'll explain it tomorrow. You'll be able to ask all the questions you like about the hotel. But your people, your memories, why would you remember every day I made a video or and what months they were from. Time slips through you in unequal amount of spaces, let's say, between. A video I made in October or November is only 7 months old. Okay? But that's when I started digging. And yet you people come on YouTube and you think I've been digging for years. I didn't even break ground for the first hole. Could have been December. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but I know that I did not start digging 2 years ago, because here's the facts. I'll just give you one brief fact. We're going to go back to the dollar bill. I didn't receive the permit for the job until May 15th of 2016. I didn't receive the permit. But then I was still living in an apartment that I had to move out of, and I had to build a house. And as I was building the house, which was well into the end of September, we had an earthquake that shut off the electric for 32 days. No electric and no water for 32 days. I wasn't building nothing. So I didn't even finish the house until the end of October or thereabouts. So you people think I've been doing construction on the hotel for 2 years. If I was still building the house till the end of October, putting the aircon in and stuff, and you see that by the dates of the video, Daisy installing the aircon, it's like October or November or December. And then I didn't have the last wall up because we had no electric anyway for months. I left, luckily I had the fourth wall off. So you think 2 years ago I started working on the hotel. I didn't get the permit until I think it was May 15th of 2016. I didn't finish the house until October or maybe November. I forget. November of 2017. And then I had to work on the machine for 2 months. So we could be talking about I didn't break ground until December of 2017. And then the machine broke and it was down for what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? I've been digging since February, guys. I've been digging since February. At best, it's only the end of June. And I don't work every day. I don't want to work every day. I work at my own pace. I'm going to get the job done. Might not get done as fast as 10 locals would do it, but then again, I can't work so well. All the good workers in the Philippines on the island of Bohol all have jobs. They all have jobs. So you have to work again. I was a contractor for 38 years in America. You have to work with the less experienced men. They don't want to listen to your instructions. None of the less experienced men have ever seen or used a nail gun. None of them have ever used a power miter. They work with hand saws and hammers, and that's how they'd want to work. So even if I cut 600 pieces of lumber in a day for say forms, say we were making forms, say I cut 600 pieces of straps for the back of a form box, which I could do easily with a power miter. It'd be no problem at all. Even just me and Daisy could do that much without batting an eyelash. It seems like a lot, but once you set up a backstop and you have the lumber set up, you can cut 600 pieces and cut 7, 8 pieces in a minute, no problem. You had somebody feeding you the lumber, you could cut 7 pieces a minute times 60 minutes. You could cut 420 pieces in an hour if you had a good feeder, somebody to feed you the lumber, and you had the lumber set up. Probably cut 600 pieces in 3 hours. But the people here, even if you cut them, they still want to use a hammer and nails. They won't use a nail gun. I wouldn't let them use a nail gun for insurance purposes. So you people that think I've been building for 2 years, I don't know where you get these numbers from. If you went back and looked at my videos, which I suggest you do, and you look at the first digging video, could have been November, December, or could have been January. I don't really know. Could have been February. I'll go back and look maybe tomorrow. Or maybe I'll look while I'm online, but I've only been digging for 5 months, 7 months maximum, 5 months minimum. So, and now I need water. hold on. I need a bottle of water. I'll be right there. I'm coming. I'm on my way. I'm back. I am back. So, let's see. What else? When the time comes. Oh, let's see. Hold on. We're not online. Yeah, just said we're online. It says failed. I've been talking for 15 minutes, and it says failed to upload the broadcast. So that's a new. No, that window just popped up. Failed to initialize the broadcasting service. Please try again in 15 minutes. Either way, that's it. I'm calling it a wrap. If it goes, it goes. I don't see any chat. I have 11 viewers. Okay, yeah, it's still going. All right, well, I'll get some water and. I don't know why people aren't leaving messages in the chat box. Maybe. Okay, I had a lot of trouble getting this thing to work today. I had to actually push the button. I pushed each button on my Hangouts. Terrence helped me for 45 minutes to try to clear this problem. The gentleman whose name is in the description left a comment on my flat Earth video, the one I made earlier. We couldn't figure it out. We tried a lot of things. He's a great guy, but so I talked with Daisy about it. She remembers how to do it word for word. Everything that I was doing and everything Terrence said to do worked. I know I'm skipping around here, but what solved the problem, Terrence, is I mentioned it, but I might not be watching. You may be watching. I pushed each button that you and I went through to get to the go live, but I held each button down for 30 seconds. Just sometimes there's a delay when you push the button too fast, like a click. Computer's going slow, something's running in the background or something like that. Maybe it was updating something, but I pushed each button for 30 seconds and now it's working. But I don't know why the chat's not working. You guys can leave messages later. So we're going to talk about the hotel, but I'll give you a basic rundown about what's going on. Could I start putting up a column? Yeah, I could, and I'll tell you why I didn't do that tomorrow. I could have put up 2 columns already, but then that's all I would have is 2 columns. Now I have of the 12, 14, 15, 16 holes, 19 holes. Of the 19 holes, I have 13 done. I still have 6 more, but the water tanks took a few weeks to dig in by themselves. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. I will prove to you that the dollar bill has the flat earth map on it. I'll be the first person to do it, and I'll never get credit for it. Just like I didn't get credit for showing you that owl and the skull and bones and the Ark of the Covenant. Should have been the greatest discovery of the 21st century. The Ark of the Covenant's on the dollar bill. I have so many challenges I put out to people like Jordan Maxwell, who was complaining that he was dead broke. Some kind of medical problem that he had, and he couldn't pay his bills, and he was destitute. I bet him $50,000 to all right. First I tried to contact him. You try to contact Jordan Maxwell, you see where that goes. He has websites with, at the time in 2011, God knows how many websites. They're not, every website has a different phone number and 2 or 3 email addresses. I sent letters and emails 17 pages long with pictures and definitions and links for the book. which at the time was only $3.99, and he never returned my emails. Never. And I said, I'll tell you what, if you're so smart about the dollar bill, all he knows about is that fascia. I said, well, that's the only thing that guy knows about. He knows about he knows about the rule of law, maritime law, which I have no idea. My friend Bo knows entertainment, knows about maritime law because he was fighting something in court, a house foreclosure, and he studied law. He got pretty good at it too. And also to drive without a driver's license. Me, it was just simpler to pay the $50. But Bo, he stands up on his principles. That's why he's my friend. But Bo knows entertainment, knows. I remember him talking about maritime law when he was learning it. So Jordan Maxwell knows about maritime law. So he gives you all these freaking 2.5, 3 minute answer, explanations for one word, and then he goes into another 2.5 to 3 minute explanation for the next word, and he tells you when he put those words together, it means this. Like the railing, he knows about the railing in the court and the words, how it's addressed to how it relates to maritime. I don't care about any of that stuff. But anyway, he thinks he's so smart. So I sent him the information, told him I would be willing to co-author something with him if he was interested. When he didn't answer my questions, I remember reading that he was broke. Not just broke, but destitute. He had no money. He was losing things, and that's what I read. I don't know if it's true. So said, well, look, I'd be willing to bet you $10,000 if you can prove me wrong, because you're not answering my emails. You don't answer the messages I leave on the machines at the time that I left messages. So I'll bet you $10,000 you can't prove me wrong. Now that you're not going to be on my side, now we'll be on opposing sides, and you wager me $10,000, put it in escrow, and I'll do the same thing, and we'll wager. Now I don't get a response from that. Here's a guy that's broke, destitute, and he doesn't want $10,000, but he's so smart. And then I upped it to 50,000 cash. You have to put it in escrow, and so I don't have any more, so I can't make those kind of bets. but at the time I did, when I lived in America before the collapse, the full collapse. So here we go with Jordan Maxwell. He knows he's all this genius when it comes to the dollar. He doesn't know squat. And then I bet the same guy, another guy, Eric H. Klein from George Washington University, I tried to co-write something with him because he's the world's leading expert on the dollar bill. On the Ark of the Covenant. He knows everything there is to know in the world about the Ark of the Covenant. He knows everything there is to know about the Ark of the Covenant, except that I found the Ark of the Covenant on the dollar bill, which has been in his face longer than it's been in your face or my face, because I think he's like 65 years old or something like that. So he missed the Ark of the Covenant on the dollar bill. So he can't allow a lowly carpenter from Howard Beach, Queens, to show the world that a carpenter found the Ark of the Covenant, but he's the number one expert in the whole world. Number one. Isa, uno. He's the number one expert in the whole world, and he didn't see the Ark of the Covenant. So he's not gonna allow me to be the person that discovered the Ark of the Covenant. So I started to get frustrated with him, and I made the same $10,000 and then $50,000 wager, and I would donate it. Oh, he's a rich guy too. He has like, if you want to know about the Ark of the Covenant and you're the Pope, you call up Eric H. Klein. He was a professor at George Washington University. He has more degrees than a thermometer. And he's the go-to man for the Ark of the Covenant, but he missed it. He didn't see it on the dollar bill. So he's not going to let me one-up him in his own field. And then, of course, there's Mark Goodacre at Duke University. He's number two. He's the second biggest guy. Yeah, you could look up this guy, Eric H. Klein, EricHCline, Eric H. Klein, George Washington University. Second guy, Mark, M-A-R-K, Goodacre, Goodacre. Acre, however you spell acre, Acer, Mark Goodacre, AC, Mark Goodacre. I forget because I haven't thought about Mark in a long time, but it's Mark Goodacre at Duke University, and he is in charge of antiquities at Duke University. So those are number one and number two in the world, and they don't want to go anywhere near me. And then Jim West, who works for Mark Goodacre, he put up a website telling anybody, because I mentioned their names, anybody that watched the video, one of my videos went viral, and then YouTube, I put up a video, and I had a little toy, Mattel cat pistol, but I had many little gadgets, miniature things like miniature owls and miniature ducks, little brass figurines. I had my Mattel cat pistol collection. I had a nice little, maybe 4 pieces or 5 pieces of the set. I was making videos of my miniature stuff before I moved to the Philippines because I wasn't going to see this stuff for a long time. So I used a cat pistol on the dollar bill to hold it from blowing in the wind, and an owl. It was a picture, a pretty big owl. Well, Eric H. Klein took that as a threat, but I used the cat pistol for a paperweight, and he got offended. So anyway, that video got it was 3,000 views. I remember going to sleep and waking up at 3,000 views and going, wow, because everybody in every college was passing it around. All of the people at George Washington University, Duke University, because I mentioned my buddy Mark in there too. And yeah, okay. So what happens is it had, I don't know, 3,800 views, and I figured by the time I get back, it's going to have 10,000 views. I had to go to work. So I got back, and the view count went down to like, I don't know, it was 100, something like that. It went from 3,800 to 100, and there was no more views. So in that video, in the last 7 years, I think it has 1,800 views now. In 7 years, but I got 3,800 views in 12 hours. So if you don't think they're throttling my channel, that's a topic for another day. They're throttling what I do. So they allow people to see it. Anybody can see that. Anybody can Google Skull and Bones. Google Skull and Bones on dollar bill. I, Michael Fazio, am the only person that ever said the Skull and Bones was on the dollar bill. Not the only person since 2010. The only person in all of recorded history. I'm also the only person in recorded history that says the Ark of the Covenant's on the dollar bill. And the same with the Bohemian Grove owl, at least the owl I just showed you. Nobody has ever said that before. Nobody. Not one person in all of history is it written anywhere. You can't find it in a research. You can't research it on Google. You can't research it on Bing. You can't research it on anything at all. Nothing could you research that on. And yet, nobody has ever made a video showing the Skull and Bones. If you go to my channel and look at the Skull and Bones on the dollar bill, it's right there. It's in your face. I describe it. Same with the owl on my channel video. It has 54,000 views. Should have 54 million views. Should get 54,000 views a day with all the people talking about conspiracy theories, but they throttle my... It might get 54,000 views a day in different countries, which we don't get credit for. Views from Germany and um, at some point I had a lot of German subscribers. I don't even know if there are any left. I had a couple of people from France, a couple of people from Yugoslavia years ago. Google has just cut down everybody's views in so many different ways. Thank you, Google. The number one. So let's see. All right, so Eric H. Klein. So the Ark of the Covenant's on the dollar bill. Thousands of references from the Bible. I know where I was going before. So now you're in a secret society. Why is it on the dollar bill? You're in a secret society. You want to say, hey, You know, you what society, whatever secret society you're in, you do it with hand signals, you do it with words. I don't know how they do it. I only know about one. And the guy says, "Well, I'm in the same one you're in." Oh, really? So what's your level? That all that stuff with the 33rd degree Mason stuff, that's like the tip of the iceberg. There's no information there. When they want to really move up the scale, they use the dollar bill in the Bible and say, okay, so show me the 4 and 20 elders on the dollar bill, and show me how you could see the 4 and 20 elders on the dollar bill. It took me 2 years of looking for the four, but I found them. They're there. The symbology, or something that symbolizes 4 and 20, is on the dollar bill and does face inwards at the mercy seat, which is the word one. People say, "Are you crazy?" Yeah, well, you read my book, and if you can, if you can wrap your head around half the stuff in my book, you have to be very open-minded, and you'd have to be a lot smarter than most of the people are here on YouTube and in the world in general. People just don't have good educations anymore. So one guy, my friend Scott, he gets it. He he's watched some of my videos. He thinks that he thinks I'm he thinks he sees me for who I am. He's one of the few people, very rare. He understands that my intellect is different. Let's say different, above average. And he's read the book, and he just finds it amazing. He's reading the book, and he just finds it amazing because he never understood anything. He's not a Bible reader, and the book is about the Bible, and it's about the Pope and his gayness. Okay, I call in the book, I reference him as the Pope, Poope, or Poopee, or some other names that I won't say in this video. But in the book, I referenced the Pope 237 times, and you could see that before it became Kindle, it used to tell you how many references of each word when it was an ebook. I don't see that functionality on the Kindle edition, but I didn't look for it. But I talk about the Pope in the book and that he was gay. And it turned out that I was writing about a gay Pope called Ratzenberger in 2009, excuse me. And let's see, when I was writing about, I didn't know he was gay. I just thought he was gay, right? Because I think most of those people involved with that society, the Vatican, are gay. I think they become priests and bishops and cardinals. I have a reason that I have it in the book. I wrote it in the book. The reason that these people become priests, cardinals, and bishops, they may have an altruistic bone in them here and there, but the reason they become priests is because they don't want to go out and operate a sledgehammer all day. Why would you? Unless you're that type of a man. Why would you want to work for a living? A priest who came from a lowly environment, a regular working class family, lives like a freaking king. They live like kings. They don't live like rich people. They live like kings. They don't do their own laundry. They don't cook for themselves. They just place an order for any kind of foods they want. They have a what they call a pittance, which is more money than most people make. They basically can take as much money as they want if they're all in on it. It's all cash. People used to throw cash in the collection plate where I live. One priest, I don't, they don't want to work, okay, but they live like kings. Now, I could tell you stories about why I think they're all gay. When I was a kid, we used to climb up on Our Lady of Grace, where the priests lived, and they would be having, they were doing the Larry Sinclair thing. And the nuns weren't much different. And then in some rooms, the nuns and the priests were doing the dance. They were dancing. When I was like 7 years old, I used to climb up on that building. It's all rocks. You go look at not the convent. Not the convent is where the nuns are, and whatever the thing is where the men stay. There was like a rock wall climb. Well, anyway, we used to climb up there and we used to watch them slap each other in the butt, the buttocks, and so I thought they were all that way, except Father Fanaro. I didn't think he was Father Fanaro. Father Fanaro was helped create the cartoon character Casper. He was my favorite priest when I was a little kid. He was like the coolest one of all the priests. But I never saw him slapping, getting slapping or getting slapped. What we could say related to baseball, the priests were catching and they were pitching, and some of the nuns were catching and pitching, and some of the nuns were just catching, not pitching. There's nothing to pitch. So I always thought they were gay. So I always thought the Pope, if all the priests were gay, then all the bishops must be gay, and then of course the Pope must be gay. And I wrote about that in the book. And apparently I was right, not knowing it was the truth at the time. After Mr. Ratzenberger, or Pope Ratzenberger, got out of the Vatican, and he ended up living with I don't know, I think it was his butler, as a like a man love. He admitted he was gay. I mean, it's in all the papers. It's not like a hidden. It's not hidden. It wasn't hidden at the time. They didn't keep it on the front page of the paper for maybe a few days or a few weeks. It should have been on the front page of the paper for 13 years. Just like what came out this week in the paper, that the priests, bishops, cardinals, the Vatican's paid out $4 billion that they admit to for child molestation. And it's all in the book. It's all in my book. My take on it, but I was writing with very little understanding of what the truth was. I was writing from my heart, what I thought, what my feelings were. I turned out to be right, just like I'm right about the other pictures on the dollar bill. So, still don't see any comments. I see 15 viewers. I'm sorry, I don't know how to make the comments go. And if you could leave a comment, say, let me give it a minute. Let me hold on. I'm gonna put this thing down so I could look. Now I could make a comment, but I can't. All right, wait a second. 14 viewers, screen share, control room. No. Okay, maybe someone will leave me a comment on how to make the comments available for tomorrow's video so I can answer questions. Well, so those are the things that I want to talk about, and many others. Maybe about, I want to talk to you about the craziest. This is it. I'm going to end it. I want to talk to you about the craziest thing you ever seen in your life. Okay. This is even more crazy than the owl on the dollar bill. I get to the Philippines. I'm in a hotel called the Golden Prince. Nice hotel. And they had great food, that's for sure. So I'm in this hotel, and the girl comes into the room. There was twice a week room service, and she picks up the floor mat, and the sun was glistening in through the window of the hotel, and I was up on the 7th floor, which is a beautiful, beautiful view of Cebu. And she takes the floor mat, and I'm working on the computer, and she takes it, and she had dragged it over by the window for some reason, and she shook out the dust on the floor, and there were like, on a molecular level, there were billions of pieces of dust. I don't know, 10 million, 1 million, 20 million, a billion. It was, you could see them floating all over there. They just like little, 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 little balloons. They were everywhere. They went all over the whole room. And I had my cameras on the table. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm shaking out. I'm cleaning the mats." I'm going, why don't you do that out the window? Or why don't you take like all the mats and put them on each other, and then go downstairs someplace where and in the alley and shake them out? Why are you doing it in each room? I mean, you got to remember, this is the maid that dusts the room, so she's shaking all this dust into the room itself, and it's going on everything. This is the first thing they do. They walk in the room and they take the dust mat. So, not to make a long story too long, he said, "Well, don't do that anymore." In my, I hear a boink, a boink. You know? Okay. So don't do that in my room. Okay. Do it in somebody else's room. So she stopped. She was very nice about it. I said, "Why do you do that?" She goes, "This is the way we were taught to do it." And you can't be serious. No one would teach you to put a million particles of dust in a room and then tell you to dust it a half hour later. That's insane. Went to another hotel. Forgot the name of the hotel. Just forgot it altogether. Golden something. Anyway, I went to another hotel and they did the same thing. I didn't say anything to them because I knew already how they're trained. So I think, well, this must just be a Cebu thing. So when I moved to Bohol, I stayed in another hotel. I stayed in several, as a matter of fact, in Alona Beach. I had a girl in Alona Beach at the two different hotels I stayed there. They did the same thing. And I asked them why you do that. They were trained to do that. This is crazy. You take your floor mat and shake it out in your house next to your kitchen sink or your television set when the sun is shining a certain. You'll see millions of pieces of dust. Anyway, so I said, well, this is just insane. This is just the Philippines, but how could these people be trained in school to shake their carpet out and make dust? I know you think this is an off the topic subject. It's an off topic subject, but I just want to show you what you're up against if you decide to move to the Philippines. Besides the long nose tax, there's a long nose tax here waiting for you. It's got your name on it. So when I met Daisy, before I met Daisy, I stayed in a hotel in Bacolod. I met that girl in that $10 room that everybody calls a dump, but it was like heaven. Because it was like heaven, because I went through 7 hours of a typhoon. Must have had 6, 7, 8, 10 inches of rain. I don't know. It was a typhoon from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 10 o'clock. When I got 9 o'clock, when I got to the Upper Bacolod train bus station, and then anyway, it was the only hotel around close. There was 15-inch puddles in the street, and the guy was driving me with a bicycle, a tricycle bicycle. I went there in the morning. The girl did the same thing, and a few more places. Then I met Daisy. She's from the province in Davao. I'm going, no way she would do that. When I met Daisy. Oh, and when I moved into the other hotel in Bohol I was living in for 2 years, they did the same thing. Not just the general manager and the maid, they did the same thing. So I meet Daisy. I figured, I want to see if she does it. She did it too. Did the same thing. What are you doing? Because I'm shaking out the mat. Just pick up the mat where it is and shook it out. They all do the same thing. The only difference, the girl in Cebu took it by the window. I think that's because where the pillowcases and the bed sheets on the floor were. I have no idea. There's no rhyme or reason. And when you move to the Philippines, you're never going to get a rhyme or reason. You're not going to get the satisfaction of an intelligent answer for something that can't possibly make sense. But what I did discover, it's got to be genetic because Daisy never went to, hotel management and resources school. She never went there. She knows how to do it. She doesn't do it anymore, though. She did it once. It's got to be genetic. Thanks for watching. God bless everybody. From Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. That's right. You have questions tomorrow. You can leave them in the comment box. Be my guest. But For me, it's time to get to sleep. I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock and prepare for tomorrow's live stream. Thanks for watching. However many people, 15 viewers. Thank you. I know it's 4th of July morning in America, 4th of July weekend morning. Thanks very much. Have a nice day, guys. I got some more stories for you. You know that. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oy vey and shalom.